UFC 307 Pereira versus Rountree just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well. And I'm going to talk about Mario Bautista, Jose Aldo at some point, but we got to start with the early prelim opener of Court McGee versus Tim Means. Now, this fight was basically a nothing contest. Court McGee got a first round submission via rear naked choke. And Tim Means was doing all right. I mean, both guys landed a few shots on the feet. Court McGee got the clinch up against the cage, eventually worked it towards a takedown, immediately got to the back of Tim Means and choked him out. There's not much else to say about it than that. I said Court McGee would win by decision because I didn't see a finish happening. I thought he had a better gas tank and he's lived and trained at altitude his entire life in Salt Lake City pretty much. And I thought that would give him an advantage. I did say he had a grappling advantage, but yeah, I didn't see it being that dominant. So Tim Means is probably done. Good win from Court McGee, though. Gets a win. We move on. Carla Esparza versus Tecia Pennington. Tecia Pennington was given this fight. And you know what? I kind of understand the decision. Okay? I know that sometimes, and Joe Rogan and that trashed it, and they gave Carla Esparza a retirement package. She's never entertained us once in her entire career. She's constantly been a break for a poo in the middle of a pay-per-view card. Joe Rogan was in tears saying goodbye to the great Carla Esparza. I get it, she's been champion, but good Lord, can we stop pandering to them? If a male fighter had that career, no one would care that they're gone. It's all good, though. I actually thought Tecia Pennington was just clearly outlanding her the entire fight. Rounds 2 and 3. I know Carla Esparza finished on top, and in women's MMA, whether they admit it or not, people phase out for the first 4 minutes of the rounds, and then towards the end of the round, they go, oh, it's still on, and then they see whoever ends up on top and does some stuff. But Tecia Pennington outlanded her effectively in round 3. I know that Esparza ended on top, but she could have won. Esparza could have won the fight. 30-27, Tecia's kind of crazy, but I guess this time they were scoring it based on damage. They seem to flip-flop about that quite a lot. And, yeah, I went with Tecia Pennington. I said she'd be way faster on the feet. She was. Could have gone to Esparza for finishing strong in rounds 1 and 3, but she didn't do all that much compared to the rest of the round where she did get outstruck. So, I get it, but I'm not up in arms about it. I'm saving that for Aldo Bautista. Okay, guys? I'll be up in arms about that one. Don't you worry about that. We move on. Ryan Spann versus Ovince St. Preux. I went with Ryan Spann by first round finish. I should have said guillotine. It's his move. It's Ryan Spann's best move. He's got a nasty guillotine. He likes to hurt people, and they shoot in on him, and he locks up the guillotine. It's kind of the thing that he's been doing recently. Well, not recently, but before that, when he was getting some wins, he was getting a lot of guillotines. And that's what happened. You know, he went out there, beat up on Ovince St. Preux. Ovince St. Preux landed a couple decent shots, couple low kicks early on in the fight, but eventually Spann landed on him, and OSP is in his 40s, and he's Ovince St. Preux in 2024. Like, this was a very expected outcome. He got a performance bonus for this, Ryan Spann. Really, really a blessed guy to get laid up OSP and then get a performance bonus on top of it. But I guess there just weren't any other finishes on the card of note. So, yeah, good job, OSP, I guess. I mean, good job, Ryan Spann. Performance bonus, guillotine in the first round, cracked OSP with a straight right down the pipe, rocked him bad, all over him. OSP shoots in with his head down, guillotines there. Great job by Ryan Spann. I got that one correct as well. 3 in a row. We move on. Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Potieria. This was actually despicable. I completely forgot about this, so I'm glad I'm doing this event recap because this needs to be mentioned. The referee in this fight, genuinely, I'm not going to say he costed Ihor Potieria a win, but the referee in this fight sure didn't give him any chance of winning because of the refereeing that he was doing. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic all throughout the fight. And it was to the point where it wasn't like maybe the referee's not, you know, paying attention, or maybe the referee's just making mistakes. It was the point where you think, oh, this guy hates Ihor Potieria and wants to see him lose. Like, I really think an investigation needs to be done. That referee, I haven't actually seen him before. I can't even remember the guy's face. Should never be able to ref a UFC event ever again. I don't mind the separations against the cage when Ihor Potieria was doing nothing. But when you pair that on top of the fact that Ihor got eye poked 4 times in the fight, and no point was taken by Cesar Almeida. The ref didn't even give him timeouts for the eye poke. He wouldn't have even gotten a timeout in the fight if it wasn't for a groin shot landing afterwards by a punch from Cesar Almeida. Like, this was insane. Ihor Potieria got absolutely done dirty in this fight. So badly. It's unfair. I think it should be overturned. It absolutely won't be, because that's the sport. Cesar Almeida won, and I do think he would win anyway, but I mean, it sure would have been a hell of a lot closer if every time Potieria rushed in, he didn't have fingers in his eyes. And it's not even the eye pokes that I'm annoyed about. That is enough. He got eye poked 4 times. The ref wouldn't give him timeouts for them. And then eventually they'd give him one, I think, and they checked, and it was an eye poke. And they would constantly show the slow-mo replay of the eye poke as the fight was like still going on, and Ihor's there blinking out one of his eyes. And they would show it was an eye poke every time. And the ref just didn't let him have a break from an eye poke. It's crazy. And it wasn't just that, though. Cesar Almeida, the entire fight long, was doing this with his fingers. Every time Potieria rushed in, boom, fingers in the eyes, every single time, fingers in the eyes, non-stop. There's 2 fingers right in your eyes, over and over again. It just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I don't get it. Should be overturned. Won't be overturned. And again, this goes out to all UFC fighters. Just cheat, innit? They don't do anything. They act like they'll do something. They just don't do anything. Back of the head shots, they don't. If it leads to a finish, they don't do it. Chris Weidman still got a win over Bruno Silva. He finished him with a 1-2 eye poke combo. Just cheat. Why are you playing clean? Cheat. They don't do anything. They're pussies. Cesar Almeida wins, but I ain't happy about it. We move on. Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. I saw this Hernandez's way potentially, but I could see the argument for Hubbard. I know why some people were sort of upset about it, because it seemed like Hernandez would start the round well and land some decent shots, but then it seemed like Hubbard was nearly breaking him in moments. Like, he was pressuring him a lot. He was walking him down a lot. Round 3, I think, has to go towards Hubbard. 30-27 Hubbard is kind of insane. I definitely gave Hernandez round 2. Round 1 maybe was the clearest. I don't even know. Maybe I need to rewatch it, but the way I saw it was Hernandez was landing more of the clean shots, but Hubbard was landing more glancing and body shots and kicks to the body and stuff like that. And he was having a lot of his takedowns stuffed. That was really good from Alexander Hernandez. I wish that was worth points. I think mentally to fans of MMA it is, because you deserve points for that. I think a takedown being stuffed should be like you slipping out of the way of a punch and countering someone. If that's where you want the fight to be and that's where they want the fight to be and they can't do it and you're stopping them every time, I think that's a part of it. You're winning that exchange. Maybe not as much of a counter punch. I get that. But you're winning an exchange against them. You're getting what you want out of an exchange. You know? I think that should mean something. But it doesn't ever. Crotch sniffers get all the credit. Weak-ass sport. Great job by Alexander Hernandez, though, man. First 2 rounds, close fight, I get it. But first 2 rounds, he got it. Elevation. First of all, elevation didn't take too much of a toll on anyone in the card, which is weird. They were all kind of prepared for it this time. I think now that we're going to Salt Lake City maybe once a year, it feels like. People are way more, okay, this is going to be a thing. It's not like a surprise thing where Cain Velasquez goes down to Mexico City against Verdum and there's all this talk about he didn't prepare for the altitude. Like, that is not an excuse anymore, you know. Everyone's prepared for altitude. Everyone knows how to adjust. And, yeah, Alexander Hernandez won the fight. Good for him. Normally known for bad cardio. Dude, stay at lightweight. Stay at lightweight. I don't know why Alexander Hernandez always does this, but you're a lightweight. You keep going down to featherweight and losing. Stay at lightweight. You're pretty decent now. We move on. Iasmin Lucindo versus Marina Rodriguez. I went with Marina Rodriguez. Iasmin Lucindo ended up winning. Again, I tried to pick based on technicality. Just go with the one that looks more like a man. Like, it's just what you have to do. We tried this game, you know, like, technical, like she's great technique, looked better against better opponents, outstruck this opponent who outstruck her, outgrappled this opponent who outgrappled her, like food chain stuff when it comes to MMA algebra. Not MMA math, it's MMA algebra. Way better technique, way more experience, way better with the punches, way better with the kicks. But then Lucindo gets a grip of her and it's a man. Like, it's not a man, but it's like, that's the difference it feels like sometimes. And we'll get to Kayla Harrison in a second, but some of these women are just different level strong, and you just have to go with the ugly one. Strickland was right. In my Nina video, he said that. Don't just root for him. Pick him to win. They're going to win the fight. Like, I thought Rodriguez could have got the second and third round. I thought this could have been a bad decision, but hey, they went with Iasmin Lucindo. I thought, again, Rodriguez won the second and third round, but I don't care that much. Shit fight anyway. Lucindo did get stood up prematurely a lot, separated. I bet O'Malley's angry about that fight, or watching the card and how the referees are doing things, because he's probably like, where the fuck was that for my Marab fight? But Lucindo wins, innit? Like, I don't really care. We move on. Up the card. Joaquin Buckley versus Stephen Thompson. I had Joaquin Buckley by late rounds TKO. I didn't see it happening like this. This was one of the standout performance of the card until the main event. The only one kind of worthy of a bonus outside of the main event, getting fight of the night, I would say. Buckley should get both the bonuses, to be honest with you, because this was one of the fights. You know, it was a difficult matchup for Buckley, but I said he would mix in the takedowns, and what do you know? He shoots 7, gets 4 of them, gets 4 minutes of control time over Wonderboy. Wonderboy does a great job getting back up to his feet, but the dude's 41. They're at altitude, and let me tell you this. Have a clear striking matchup with Wonderboy, you're losing. Buckley is losing a pure striking matchup with Wonderboy. And for the first round, that was very apparent. The judges actually gave Buckley round 1. Oh, it's such a fucking annoying sport these days. Wonderboy could have got round 2. Close round. You know what I mean? Like, some people were saying in my chat, 2-0 Wonderboy. I was saying more 1-1. And then Buckley started doing well in the third and eventually tagged Wonderboy. But the dude was outstriking Buckley pretty easily, but Buckley was rushing in, blitzing in, and Wonderboy doesn't plant and land and knock you out like an Ignacio Bahamondes Manuel Torres style shot, which is what I was describing in the prediction video for this fight. Now, I thought Buckley was going to eventually wear Wonderboy out, beat him a bit on the feet, and then get him down and like finish him by TKO. You know what I mean? I didn't expect the big KO that we got from Buckley. Great performance, mixed in the takedowns, played it smart. I was annoyed at first, but then I'm like, I understand it though. What's he going to do? Just strike and lose with Wonderboy? Fuck Mario Bautista, though. But I get it. It wasn't as bad. He was still swinging heat, like rushing in, putting himself in danger. Round 2, he started getting better shots off, landing a bit more on Wonderboy. But again, Wonderboy in this fight, one thing he kept doing, he was backing up with his hands down, expecting Buckley to rush into the clinch and try and outmuscle him, or try and get a double leg against the cage. That is what Wonderboy eventually ended up expecting to happen in the third round, which is, in turn, what got him KO'd by that beautiful right hand, which landed right at the end of Buckley's rushing combination. He did a great Dricus du Plessis impression in this fight, you know what I mean? But it was like a welterweight step through, more technical-looking version of what du Plessis does, really. Yeah, Buckley looked great. He looks great at welterweight. I've been saying that he's way improved since the Holland fight. It's very noticeable. Picked him to beat Wonderboy. Didn't pick him to smoke him like that with a big shot. I thought he was going to beat up on Wonderboy eventually and then get him while mixing in takedowns. I said third round, though, so I'll take that. Buckley gets it done. I think I might have said late second. Who knows? I said later end of the fight. Buckley will get a finish by TKO. But yeah, Wonderboy, what he was doing was he was expecting Buckley, as he did for the first 2 rounds, to, after blitzing in, shoot for a clinch or a takedown. And then Wonderboy's got his hands down, ready for a clinch or a takedown, back against the cage. And Buckley this time steps all the way through with a right overhand, puts him away. Wonderboy's done, 41 years of age. You could sell an MVP fight. I don't want to see it. I think Wonderboy's done. It might be boring in hindsight as well, but you could sell an MVP fight. I get that. You know what I mean? I can see that. But yeah. Good job, Joaquin Buckley. Called out Usman. Great call out. I don't mind seeing it because it lines up the rest of the division. It makes us get JDME and Gary, Shavkat Bilal, Brady versus Edwards, and then Buckley versus Usman. Sounds good. We move on. to another fight. Kayla Harrison versus Vieira. Kayla Harrison wins the fight. I thought she lost the second round. 2 judges gave her the second round. It just goes to show they want her to win because you can't give her the second round. She got out effectively damaged. She didn't score a single takedown. She got cut open with an elbow and had a hematoma on her forehead. How can you give her a second round? All good, though. First and third round, though, when she did get the takedowns, she dominated from there. And it's just a different level of strength. She's just different level strength to every woman ever. I don't think like she could beat Prime Nunes based on that performance. But if the more she gets comfortable in the octagon, she will get better. And who's to say she doesn't just ragdoll Nunes? Because if she gets the right takedown off, she could. But I would worry about her blitzing in the way she did on the feet, getting caught by Nunes. Because I guess we found out some weaknesses in Kayla Harrison's game. Do I think she's going to be a world champion? Yes. Pena ducked her on the mic. Lousy. But on the feet, she looked awful. So at first I was like, is she really a woman? And then once I saw her striking a bit, I was like, yeah, she is. You know what I mean? So, rumors cleared up. Kayla Harrison gets it done. It's all about the game and how you play it. Great win by Kayla Harrison. We move on. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. This was a bit of a weird one. So, Holland is way faster than Dolidze on the feet. He's outlanding him at a crazy rate. I think he actually landed like 10 strikes on the feet before Dolidze even landed anything. Maybe Dolidze landed a low kick at one point and tried a right overhand that glanced. But Holland was just tapping at him, hitting him to the body, hitting him to the head, low kicking him. Doing work, but Dolidze was unfazed by it. Eventually gets the takedown in round 1. Good shot on the takedown, completes it. The only shot he took in the fight. And then again, Holland, I know he hurt his ribs, and I absolutely get that, yeah. And I'm not saying he didn't. Like, he definitely did hurt his ribs. I believe him. I thought it was his shoulder at first because he got injured, and then Dolidze went on to beat the hell out of him and finish the fight because Holland couldn't continue in the corner because his ribs were, I guess, digging into his lungs. I'm going to talk about what happened before the injury, though. Great win by Roman Dolidze. I will say this before I forget. No idea how that warrants a black belt being given to you. Who gave him this? We need to check this. This is the problem with MMA. Like, I get maybe he's definitely worthy of one MMA-wise because his grappling is really good. Look at the Hermansson fight. Like, guy reversed him and twisted him up all over the place. I think he'd be a great style to counter the grappling of Chimaev at one point. That would be an interesting matchup. I do think Chimaev would have a striking advantage over him, though. But he is good. And black belt worthy. I just don't know why it was given to him after that. Like, the guy hurt his rib and then you TKO'd him. Couldn't finish him on the ground. Is what it is. Holland can't be TKO'd, it seems. Really good win by Dolidze. No taking away from him. But I will say this for Holland. As soon as he's obviously losing, he makes sure he loses. Injury, I get it. You know, it was an injury. It's going to happen. That did happen. And then in the stall, I'm not going to say it wasn't digging into his lungs. But before the injury, brother, stop body triangling yourself on bottom. I get you don't want him to pass your guard. Try and win. Holland keeps putting himself in these positions, especially when someone grapples him, where he would much rather just lose a round than be finished. Risk it. Try and get back up. Like, you're a fast guy for middleweight. You're an athletic guy for middleweight. You're very gangly. You're very athletic. You're tricky to keep down. You can use that to your advantage. I guess Dolidze, maybe he didn't believe in his grappling against Dolidze, but I just feel like as soon as Holland feels like he's outmatched, especially in the grappling, he just lets it happen. You know? Body triangles it on bottom, does nothing, starts talking, ha ha ha, I'm losing, lets the round get away from him. Eventually, he tried to scramble while Dolidze was trying to get mount, and he broke his ribs. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like if someone's getting the better of Holland, there's no chance of a comeback finish. That's how I feel. Great win from Dolidze, though. Sucks for Holland. He'll have to take some time off, but he got paid again. I'm sure he'll be back. And now he can fight lower comp and probably win. So he'll probably make more money this way. So smart. He's going to make a lot more money than a lot of UFC fighters do in his career, but never going to be a top guy, it seems. We move on. Mario Bautista versus Jose Aldo. This really, really annoyed me. Jose outlanded him in rounds 2 and 3 on significant strikes. Clearly. 17-10 in the third. 21-19 in the second. In round 1, Bautista was landing early. And then Aldo was like trying to shake off the cobwebs. He was getting stung a few times. Timing wasn't quite there. God, it hurts. Seeing such cowardice get rewarded. (17-10 in the third, Aldo. Significant strikes. 21-19 in the second. He hurts him in the second with a knee. Bautista starts panic shooting again. He's stalling Aldo up against the cage for basically the whole fight. 7 minutes of control time and 15 seconds. Nearly half the fight. None of it was an effective takedown. It was all just holding him up against the cage. And I bet you they didn't count all of it as that either. So there was even more of it than 7 minutes. I bet you anything there was about... Well, maybe it was 7 or 8. I'd say about 8 minutes maybe. Where he actually was... Maybe they don't count him actually shooting in for the takedown as the counted control time. But then when he's just holding him against the cage, they do. But in round 2, he didn't get his own way. He tried to knee him against the fucking cage with the thigh. It's pathetic. The guy was talking about a bloodbath in the press conference. Like, no, man. You got busted open and you pussied out against a legend. Like, let's call it what it is. You're a bitch. I know he can beat me up. I get it. He can beat 99.9%, 99.99% of the world up. I get it. You're a lame. You're a bitch. You ain't a warrior. You ain't Pereira or Rountree. You never fucking will be. You get a legend like Aldo. You don't deserve to share the fucking cage with him. Ever in your shitty little measly career. You've done nothing to deserve it. The only reason you're getting that fight is because the UFC hates their legends unless they're Stipe and they can get Jones a free layup win to avoid Aspinall. We respect our legends. The Aldo's got to go through Bautista and Martinez back to back. No legend fight for him. No Preux. No Sandhagen. No Cejudo. No nothing. Dude should have been fighting Umar for a title elimination bout after beating. He's got wins over Font, Vieira, Munoz, Martinez. Got more ranked wins than most guys at bantamweight. O'Malley. Umar, for sure, he's got 1. You don't even deserve to share the fucking cage with him. And when you do get the opportunity, you just start holding him against the cage. Kneeing him in the thigh. He's 40. Legend. Fucking duke it out with him like a man. I'm sick of acting like we're not allowed to call him out for this. And you know what? People trashing me about saying Merab's boring, Bilal's boring. There was a whole era after Merab beat O'Malley and Bilal beat Edwards for a few months where everyone was just saying, MMA fans, when the fighters mix the martial arts. Oliveira mixes the martial arts. Moicano mixes the martial arts. Look what he did to Benoit Saint Denis in round 1. Makhachev mixes the martial arts. Merab and Bilal stall out fights. Not as much Bilal as much, but he does. Mario Bautista did just that. And because Aldo's unanimously liked, all of a sudden the whole community's got a problem with it. Been saying this for ages. Stop that. We have to terminate that. If someone's holding against the cage, point deductions. Call off the fight. He's stalling. Cowardice. Yellow card. Pride level stuff. Stalling against the cage. Yellow card. If I catch you stalling again, red, the fight's off. You're a coward. We genuinely need to bring those rules back. Value takedown defense. Allow knees to a grounded opponent so people can be punished for failing takedowns. They shoot a takedown. They end up on their knees. The guy's got a separation. He can't do anything. Or he's tangled back into a grappling exchange. Especially when his back's against the cage. It's lame. Knees to a grounded opponent. Warnings for cowardice. It's rampant in the sport right now. Aldo should have won that fight. Second and third round. 17-10 on significance in the third. 21-19 in the second. And he rocked him and busted him open with a left hook on the eye. No question. BS. Because he's holding him against the cage and kneeing him in the fire. You're just going to give him a decision. Knees to the fire. I'm glad they no longer count, MMA community. Because I tried saying that a few weeks ago and we saw what the response was to that. Obviously, my OG fans have been on this side. But I'm glad Aldo's unanimously loved enough to where we can start calling knees to the fire what they are. Bullshit stalling moves. Pathetic. If you're stalling against the cage, McGregor put up a good example. I don't think he said it exactly like this, because I didn't really read it, but I get the gist of what he meant in terms of the McGregor clock, or whatever it is. If you're stalling, the clock stops. How about it? Stop running out the clock. If you're stalling against the cage, pause the time. Might add a couple minutes to every fight. Don't care. You don't get to run down the clock against the cage. And the most annoying part about this fight for me was he was doing nothing after failing a takedown and just holding Aldo against the cage. The amount of times they separated Ihor Potieria. They separated Lucindo versus Rodriguez. We don't care about those fights. And those are the ones you're separating. Give Aldo that same treatment. They gave him one in the third, and what does Bautista do? Immediately shoot on his knees again and just end up grinding against the cage. Lame, pathetic. Fuck Mario Bautista. And I'm putting out a fucking hit right now. Within the UFC's confines of the octagon. I need to point that out. 10K for the first UFC bantamweight to leave Mario Bautista unconscious on the floor in the canvas. During a UFC fight in the octagon, $10,000 for any UFC bantamweight that leaves him stiff in the octagon asleep. MMA Guru bounty. Forget the MMA Guru bonus scheme. I'm putting bounties out on these boring motherfuckers, and someone's getting them slept. Starting with this guy, Mario Bautista. How fucking dare you do that to Aldo? A legend! You don't belong in there with him anyway! Pathetic. Fucking pathetic. Give me Aldo Cruz now! And if he wins title elimination bout, now! And pay Aldo $500,000 minimum. Not this 200k shit where he might walk away with show money only. Show money $500k minimum $500,000 for Aldo. Pennington and Pena are fucking millionaires, for fuck's sake. $10,000 for the first UFC bantamweight that leaves Mario Bautista asleep in the octagon, unconscious. $1,000 extra for every follow-up shot you land. No walk-offs allowed. We move on up the card. Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington. This is the torture that came after the fucking Aldo situation. Pena could win the first round, but I thought Pennington landed the better shots. I was busy raging about the Aldo fight in it. Low-level MMA. Got their eyes closed while they're swinging. Pennington clearly won the fourth and fifth round. It comes down to the first. Second and third were clearly won by Juliana Pena. She got takedown. She stayed on top position. Did barely anything with it. But at one point in third, she nearly had a rear naked choke. More than anything Bautista did. Lame. More than anything Marab was doing. Fucking lame. All good though. 4 and 5. Raquel Pennington drops Juliana Pena in the fourth round. Badly. Looks like she could get a finish, but then makes sure she doesn't in a very women's MMA way, where she just sort of tangles herself up on the ground with her in a nothing hold that stops the finish from happening. They love doing that after dropping an opponent. Can't just separate and land again. It's all good. Yeah, Raquel Pennington's got more knockdowns than Belal Muhammad in her career. She's got equal knockdowns to Marab. That's all you need to know. Pena wins round 1. She got some takedowns-ish. Did she, though? I don't think she even did in round 1. No, she didn't. Maybe some positional control, but nothing big like in round 2 or 3. I thought Pennington landed the better shots, but Pena was landing, so I'm going to say screaming robbery, but I get why people think, because, Pennington was beating her up in 4 and 5, it seemed. They both looked terrible, though. They both looked awful. Can't swing a punch to save their life. They're millionaires, construction workers, farmers, People that toil the fucking land in this country and America. I'm saying this country like I'm an American. I feel like I should be. Fuck the UK right now. It's the fucking damnation of Western society. Pena and Pennington get millions for stinking up an event every time and providing no fucking value to society at all. Ruining everything every time. Yeah, construction workers get up at fucking 6 a.m. every day, 5 a.m., get back at 4, 5, maybe later. They're struggling to pay bills. 30-something thousand dollars a year. 20-something thousand in the UK. Destroying themselves. Pena and Pennington are millionaires. We got to think about things and restructure society, I swear to God. It's good Lord. They should be making 30, 40k a year. Construction should be on a lot more. I don't know how much more, but a lot more. It's just pissing me off. So many dangerous jobs that people are doing in the world. They just get paid nothing. No savings. Nothing to take home at the end of the week. Have a fun weekend. I dare you. It will come at the cost of your savings. These two are millionaires. Sort it out, Western society. Oh, I will. When I'm in my 30s. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. Probably will never happen, but something's got to be done in it. It fucking pisses me off seeing that shit. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Already spoke about it in an individual video. Pereira actually outlanded Khalil in round 1 on numbers. And in round 2. He was landing, but Khalil was landing the better shots. So round 1 goes to Khalil. Round 2 goes to Khalil because, again, they didn't score it as a knockdown. Even though Joe Rogan and the whole commentary made it a knockdown, he did land a shot that was like, oh, he kind of made Pereira sink to his knees for a second, nearly. But it was mainly because Pereira was off balance. But I get how the moments can give rounds 1 and 2 to Khalil because Pereira landed nothing of significance. In round 2 he was, but in round 1 he didn't. Khalil was blitzing forward, landing decent shots. Round 1, Khalil easily. Round 2, and this is where people have it twisted. People are going to say in hindsight, they'll say, full credit to Khalil, by the way. I'm just being critical because I've done all the praising in the video I just did. I fucking dedicated a few minutes at the end of the whole video for him. First of all, Strickland can't call Khalil a pussy anymore. Don't care. He's way more man than you. Way more warrior than you anyway. No matter what he gets up to outside the cage. Being tough as you want on Twitter. What are you going to do in the cage? Teep and jab? We'll see. Round 2, though, that's when Pereira figured out Khalil. Now, a lot of people are saying, no, you talk about he got dropped in round 2, he got head kicked at round 2, but that was within a very small window of the round. And for the start of round 2, Pereira was like, okay, I'm going to keep it simple. Kept throwing the head kick too much. Should have stopped that a bit earlier. He learned to, as soon as he missed over the top of Khalil, and Khalil tagged him, and he went down for a second, but popped right back up. He started getting more simple. Lead low kicks and jabs. He was schooling Khalil in round 2 until he got tagged. You know what I mean? He was getting hit with a few shots, but he was getting his own way in round 2. Round 3, Khalil starts good. Has a bit of a show for himself. Like, I'm still strong, Alex. I'm still in this. You aren't going to break me. And then Pereira picks it up at the end of round 3 and fucking breaks him. Nearly. At the end of round 3, big knees, big shots. Khalil starting to cover up. His nose is busted. His eyes starting to swell up a little bit. Round 4 was just absolute domination. Khalil landed here and there. He had moments, like he would land while Pereira was swinging at him. But Pereira was just, nah, you ain't got the power for me anymore. You ain't got the speed for me anymore. I've cooked your leg in round 3. Round 2-ish even. Which is when Khalil started stopping, blitzing forward because he couldn't. You swung all you could. Listen, at the end of the day, even though Khalil was doing good, he landed at 23% accuracy in round 1. He landed at 26% accuracy in round 2. I'm getting more statistical now. That's bad. Title fight, altitude, Pereira making you miss that much. I know he was having success, but that's a type of fight where you have to get the finish early. Blitzing that much going forwards, you're going to get walked down by Pereira eventually. And that's what happened in round 4, man. He walked him down, started popping him, slipping out the way, pop, slip out the way, move, dip. Enters the fucking Poatan flow state that he enters, which is just the greatest thing to watch in modern day MMA. And eventually tears him to shreds, beats him up. Cooks him in the clinch with knees. Big shots, big shots. Finally goes to the body once he has Khalil broken against the cage. Boom, boom. Made that mistake against Adesanya, but he did it too early. If he would have waited longer in the Adesanya fight to go, he probably would have done the same thing. You know what I mean? In round 2, he got Adesanya with one shot and then went, now I'm going to just bust him up against the cage. He learned. He's evolved from that mentally, for MMA at least. And just in general with his fight IQ, you learn lessons by losing, right? And the guy didn't lose much, you know? So you learn lessons through your losses, and that's what you learn from the Adesanya fight. If I hurt a guy and I see him backing up against a cage, I got time. It's round 2. Round 2 didn't go the way he wanted against Khalil, but even in round 3, he could have been like, now I'm going to empty the gas tank. He's up against the cage. No. Waited for 4. Waited till he really had him beaten down. Waited till his leg was cooked. Waited till the body shots were getting through on Khalil. Waited till the jabs were starting to really frustrate him and hurt him. And then he started teeing off. Beautiful, beautiful combination. Knee to the body, knee to the head. Big shots. Khalil stumbling all over the place. Tracks him down. More big shots. Breaks through the guard with a big shot. And then just goes, I'm digging. Right hand to the body. Left hand to the liver. Khalil hunches. Uppercut as he hunches with a big right uppercut. Sleeps Khalil badly. Great performance. Great fight from both. Saved the entire card, because I'm going to say this right now in terms of an event recap. This was dog shit. And I hear Dana was angry about that as well. This was a dog shit fucking event. Like, straight up. McGee, Tim Means, who cares? No one was even in the crowd for that one. First round submission, cool. Pennington, Esparza, trash. Just trash. Ryan Spann, OSP, expected. Great finish. Got the crowd riled up. Almeida, Potieria was iffy. Controversial. Hernandez, Hubbard was all right. In the end of the 3rd round, they went at it a bit, but it wasn't anything crazy before that. Lucindo Rodriguez, another women's MMA fight. Don't need to describe how that was. Buckley Thompson, great from Buckley. Tense fight. That sort of livened him back up. Every time he got a bit of a boost, it just went flatline again in terms of excitement. Ryan Spann did that. Oh, good 3rd round in this. Lucindo Rodriguez. Buckley got a KO at the end. Vieira versus Harrison. What a shit fight. Dolidze Holland ended in a weird way. Bautista fucking ruined everything because he deserves an afterlife in hell. Women's fucking fight again. Starting to notice a trend with these, but we can't say it because Nina will have a problem with it. Fucking bitch. Pereira Rountree saves the day, though. Ends it with a bang. If that was boring, it never could be. But, you know, a sub for someone, like, it wouldn't have been the same. So, great job for them. Saved the entire event. Loved it. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.